Um, I have for the longest while, I mean, pretty much forever, but especially since the Creed movies came out, I wanted to go back and watch Rockies. You know, I wanted to watch the Rockies.
I just had I got so confused when you said that
Yeah,
because me and Paige were just laughing about butt rock last night, and so when you said the Creed movies, I thought you were being like,
Creed,
"Can you take me behind?" I thought you were talking like, "Wait, Creed, the band
Creed.
got a movie?"
No. Rocky. You know.
Okay, got it.
I remember. I think you did the marathon some years ago.
I watched Rockies 1 through 6, but I haven't watched Creed yet.
Yeah, so I keep
I
hearing
didn't
about how
hear good things about Creed 1. I heard better things about Creed 2.
Other way around. I heard Creed 1 is
yeah?
unbelievable, and I heard Creed 2 sucks. That's what I heard.
Oh man,
so
that's tough.
I'm curious, but either way, I was like, yeah, let's go do this. And of course, I know Rocky through memes, and I know like all the bits of that are parodied and everything, parodied in Fresh Prince. You see the robot and all this kind of wild shit, and every show that I listen to. Fucking like Reggie came in one day and was like, yeah, I watched all the Rocky movies. I don't know, whatever. Like it's just such a thing that's always going on. So I was like, all right, let me just get this done already. Went back and watched that, and it is hilarious in that I can't think of a more dated thing I've ever seen. It is the most dated media I've ever fucking watched.
Rocky 1. Like did you just watch Rocky 1?
Yeah, just Rocky 1
so far. Okay, so the Rocky series is like, how do I put this? It's like watching Resident Evil turn into Devil May Cry 5.
I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
Because when I think of Rocky, the one that I had always thought of as a child is Rocky's gonna go fight communism. Rocky's gonna go fight communism for America, and the robot is there, and he's the Superman. And then you start watching Rocky 1, and it is a dirty, pathetic, depressing, uncomfortable, kind of terrifying movie.
Everyone sucks. Go ahead.
What's his name? Uncle Nicky?
Adrian's
Uncle
brother?
Paulie. Uncle Paulie. Him, like, smashing their living room to bits with an umbrella, screaming at her that she needs a man.
A bat.
That
He's holding a bat.
That he gave up his life so she could fucking live at home. Is
garbage.
Fucking no good.
Garbage.
And it's just like, it's terrifying.
Yeah, and the whole time,
scary.
The whole time, right? He's garbage, and you're like, okay, I'm waiting for the part where he does something unforgivable and like fucks the whole thing up, or does, and it never quite happens. Instead, there's just a punchline where he shows up at the fight with a hooker as his date, and that's it. And I was like, I paid $250 for her, and that's like, okay, so this whole thing, it is because here's why it's so bizarre, because it's not just it's 70s Philly through the lens of Hollywood, right? So it is simultaneously like horrifying and gross and dirty, while also ridiculous and over the top. Like, this is only happening in movie land.
Because it can't have the realism of the real 70s. It has the realism of the TV movie 70s.
Exactly.
The most they could get away with.
Like when he's doing the fucking jog through the burning dumpsters, and Punchbob was just like, oh my god, like, is that Philly? And I'm like, well, think about what you heard about Times Square in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Before the fucking cleanup. Now think about what's happening down in Philly at that time, So yeah, it's probably that bad. But at the same time, while that's what's happening in reality, and you're seeing a bit of that there, he's also walking out of the fucking the boxing the training gym, hitting the corner to a bunch of like smooth talking, and his brother and the bunch of dudes that are "Take Me Back" doing a cappella around the dumpster fire,
burning trash
barrel, and it's like, yeah, right, 2 a.m. in fucking South Philly is a bunch of white dudes on the streets singing a cappella, clean in their leather jackets.
It's like because I just can't get over what a different movie Rocky was than the movie that I was expecting. Because the bit with Uncle Paulie losing his mind and screaming at Adrian, it always sticks out to me because Rocky does not act like a hero. Like Paulie trashes it, and like I think he destroys the turkey.
He
like
throws
he ruins...
the first time he comes in, he throws the turkey out. The second time around, he smashes everything.
And he's going nuts, and he's screaming at her, "Get out of my house! You ruined my life!" and all this shit. And like Rocky just goes like, "So do you want to go out? We can go out. We go to the ice. You go to the ice rink." And it's
no. He already did that. Yeah. Like later, he's like, "Hey, so you need a roommate?" And
right,
like,
you're right.
Yeah,
but like what I mean is like he's not like he's a big tough boxer, and Paulie's just some fucking schlub, right?
Yeah,
and you expect the hero of my story to stand up and be like, but he's not. He's a weirdo.
Because I assumed at that point he's thinking family code, though. You know?
Yeah, totally.
You can't go swinging on the family.
And then the other scene that sticks out as like the last thing that I expected, because it had been such a staple of boxing, cinema, and storytelling forever, which is Burgess Meredith set the tone for every boxing coach to ever follow, right? Right? And you got to get him in there, right? That's what I expected. What I didn't expect is that when he finally goes to talk to Rocky, the actual scene is Rocky telling him to leave, and then for Stallone to just scream at him through his door, audible out into the street for like 10 minutes. Just
not to his face.
How dare you come to me? Like,
right. But then also the weird part there is like you're thinking like, oh, so he's been shit to him because he's had potential and he wastes it. But then the opportunity comes and he's going to be like, hey, I see a chance for you, kid. And you're like, but like everyone at that point is grubbing for money because of the payday. So you're like, oh, well, he's going to come and do something to show you that he's not in it for the money. He's in it for the heart. And like, no!
He's not in it for the heart. He's in it for the glory because he's 90.
But I know, and he says, I'm an old man, right? But Mickey shows up like everybody else at that point, and he doesn't, you expect him to say something to the effect of, I'm not going to get paid. Don't even pay me. I'll do it for free, right? And that never happens. He just says, get the fuck out, or he doesn't he doesn't say get the fuck out, but he goes to the bathroom, and then he leaves embarrassed because he's like, oh, you came grubbing for money talking about being a manager like anyone else would be at that point. And then after yelling through the door, he runs out to him and goes, okay, fine, I'll take the shot. You know?
Yeah.
And it's, but like Mickey is not doing anything particularly heroic there, considering everyone was all about the money at that point. You know?
Yeah, everyone is like awful in
Completely.
Rocky 1. It's astonishing.
Yeah,
it's wild. Like every character like kind of sucks. The only one that isn't like a bad person is Adrian, but she spends more than half of the movie like so awkward and so withdrawn that she doesn't talk to anyone.
Completely quiet, introverted type, which I could see that being like something that is like, oh, that's probably a very unique casting choice, because movies from the 70s at the time probably want a blonde bombshell to be on the poster, you know, as like the champ's girl, but instead going with an awkward, like shy librarian mousy type, you know, you get a very different thing. So it's like, okay, that's interesting, that's cool. And then the first date happens, and you're just like, ooh, this is taking a while. Do you remember first date?
By modern standards, the way that Rocky pursues Adrian is kind of terrifying.
It's crazy.
I watched it with Paige for the first time.
Yeah.
Like a little while ago, and like watching it with my girl, we're just sitting there going, oh man, this is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like she says she's gonna leave, and he like puts his hand on the door and is like,
cabadons her.
No, girl,
don't go, please don't go. He cabadons her into the corner, and like it's a slow progression all the way up from the like, hey, come on in, come on in. I said and then while inside, she's like, I don't want to. She says no like 3 times, and it's just and he does all the stuff that you're like. Is there going to be a pullout at some point to show you like, oh, you might think he's this big lug, but he's actually pretty sensitive because he's got the animals, so he's sensitive, right? So is there going to be a pullout?
He loves his fish.
A pullout to be like, oh, okay, well, and there's no pullout. He just completely.
No, the pullout is to them like cuddling on the couch in a different scene.
He just corners her, and then she's awkwardly like, and then he just goes in he takes the glasses off and goes right on in. And then it's like, okay, and by movie rules, the next scene, she's like, well, I guess I'm with him now.
And what you'll see for Rocky 2 onwards is that getting that good dick changed her life. And now all of that awkwardness and shyness has been driven out.
It's gone from the scene after they hook up.
Yeah, but like there's no hint of it ever again.
Okay.
Ever. It's gone.
Because she's immediately like, well, I'm on your side. I'm in your corner. I'm with you. I'm here. You're my dude. That's how you do it. And you're just like, yeah, I guess that's your 70s movie. Like, it's just
it's quite possible that a fit, young, aspiring actor, writer who was a proud Italian American and a softcore porn actor,
the Italian Stallion,
would have written a story in which the shy girl just needed to get some of that good dick to come out of her shell.
She didn't know she needed it.
It seems like that is a definite possibility.
She needed it. That's what it was. And then the scene after, when fucking her brother's losing his mind, how does he tear her down? He's like, oh, you're busted. You're not a virgin anymore. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude.
It's so brutal.
Having no agency in the situation, it's immediately followed by, you goddamn whore. You're like,
it's crazy.
Rocky, what is wild? It's fucking nuts. So anyway, there's all that, right? What else is happening? I've known for a million years that the boxing itself is terrible. I've known that the whole time. So I already went in like expecting to see the hilarity of
what's important though is how little of the film boxing actually takes up.
Yes, that's exactly it. So I'm like, the boxing is going to be terrible. I know this. Blocking with your face. That's clearly the way we do this, right? Like, I can't. Anyway, needless to say that just what little bare bones beginner ass experience I have with boxing, it's like rule -1 is put your hands up. Just you put them up to stop the fucking constant jabs from happening. So whatever. There's been a million other more qualified people that have laughed about this forever. We don't need to get into that. The fact that he gets picked as a random spectacle. And it's like, okay, that's the message of the American opportunity thing, but like behind that, really, Creed is Apollo's, doctoring the situation to make himself look better, and he's too busy taking business calls while Rocky's training on the meat. Which, by the way, when the news interview happens and they show you him punching the meat, they then cut to full screen dramatic cuts of a 5-minute montage of him punching the meat. I'm like, what news story is this that just cuts from all like dialogue, all like interview questions to just the montage of him punching the meat? You literally see him get picked, and then all the build up to him being the like the way he gets introduced at the end of the movie towards the fight, it makes sense for the protagonist of the movie to be introduced in that way. It's almost as if everyone in the movie knows him and knows where he comes from and what's going on.
Right.
But from the perspective of the rest of the world, why would you give that much of a shit or talk about him at all? He didn't have any exhibitions in between. There was no build up. There was no in-ring anything between the beginning and the fucking end of the movie. There's 2 fights. So by the time he's walking down,
Rocky movies tend to have one fight at the beginning, sparring, training, and then one fight at the end. And that's the formula.
it is so funny to see like how much everyone is aware of the fact that they're in a movie where this guy's the protagonist, because even the announcers are like, yeah, Rocky Balboa now doing that, and it's like, if you had just seen a random guy whose name was picked off a list and then the fight would actually be happening, there'd be so much like going into who he was or establishing anything for people, but it just gets he immediately gets elevated.
You didn't see into that because that was all off camera, because we were dealing with the people who already knew with Rocky.
Of course. And like, you got to be real now. At the end of the day, you're talking about random bum from Philly who's getting picked to be the people's champion, and he's a white guy that's an Italian that's about to go trounce a black dude. Of course he's the fucking hero. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Come on.
But the takeaway from Rocky 1 is that he's the hero not because he won, because he doesn't.
He stayed in. He stayed standing.
That he could have been a contender, which is an old boxing.
Exactly. He went the distance.
Made it.
He went the distance.
The whole thing is I don't know what to call it. Fantasy is that like I could have gone pro. Becomes like, no, you really could have.
Yeah.
That's not just an idle boast. You could have, which is why it becomes so crazy to see Rocky turn into G.I. Joe.
Okay, I'm prepared.
Because you've seen that shit from like Rocky 4 and 5, where it's just like he's Superman, he's American hero.
Bits and pieces all broken up throughout my life.
I think Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 are the best ones by far, and it's because they're the two that take place in what I would call the slime universe that is Philadelphia.
the fictional USA. Yeah.
And Rocky 2, like, the most interesting thing about it is dealing with the fallout that he did not win the fight.
Okay.
And Apollo dealing with the fallout that he didn't just knock him out in like a second.
So, I mean, the other things too, where you're just like all this time that we spend not boxing is spent like Rocky's pulling 12-year-olds off the street, being like, go to bed or else you'll become a whore. And she's like, screw you, Rocky. And he's like,
I tried to do my best.
And I'm like, wait, but wasn't that the same street corner where you told the kids, hey, you guys are sounding pretty good because your brother was singing Take Me Back? Like, How come they're no good anymore? It's the same kids, Anyway.
It's weird because what happened to Rocky is exactly the same thing that happened to Stallone's other written property, which was First Blood.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen First Blood, right?
No, but I know that it doesn't become Rambo until everything after that.
So John Rambo in First Blood is the Rocky Balboa of Rocky 1 in Rambo Town. He is a sad, pathetic, PTSD'd out drifter who is just trying not to kill himself. And he becomes like,
you have to awaken the beast.
I'm going to pick up the machine gun.
Yeah. So, what was the fucking thing? Oh yeah, the part where like he's like, oh, he's working, he's a bum and he's working for a 2-bit mobster, but he doesn't break the thumbs, right? Shows you, oh, he's got a heart. He's a good guy, Deep down he's kind of dumb.
This is all the work he can get.
Yeah. Except for when it comes to giving that good dick, in which case you gotta go right through, But that's the thing is like that. Even before that, like when they actually go on the date and you actually spend the 10 minutes in real time listening to him just drone on about nothing, and you're like, oh my god, he's so dumb. He's there's really nothing going on,
I think there's one of those things that I laugh really, really hard about it because I think it's a writing mistake they made in the second Rocky movie that relates to him working for the mob. He works for the mob, and there's the driver who is the biggest piece of shit in the world. Antagonistic just to be antagonistic.
For no reason. He doesn't like you.
Shits all over Adrian, calls her a bunch of names, implies that she's right?
Take him to the zoo. They love the zoo.
So the thing is, there's a romantic scene with Rocky and Adrian in the zoo.
I
in the
know.
second one.
I
And,
heard
like,
about that.
every time I get to that part, I lose my fucking mind because I'm like, is that why Rocky brought her to the fucking zoo?
I heard about how they actually go to the zoo later.
It feels like a mistake. It feels like a screw
Oh
up.
no. Oh no. Yeah. Oh man. It's dude, like it is such a fucking trip to just like turn your brain off and like let this go where it goes. And at the same time though, like there's some stuff where I'm like, damn, I wish I could have been in a theater in 76 to watch the shot of him sprinting jogging alongside the boat and then breaking into the full sprint. That shot is awesome. And I've seen it parodied a million times, but it's still,
a reason
it's
why
such
Rocky
a good shot.
invented the montage, the training montage.
You know, and of the stairs, of course, is the, you know, your big takeaway. But that fucking jog shot is still as good, like incredible. And I'm like, yeah, no, I see the nominations that this movie got.
In Rocky, I think it's in Rocky Balboa. There is the funniest dry undersold joke about the training montage that I think I've ever seen. It's like, because you've seen it parodied a million times, right? And they have their own spin on it, where Rocky in 6 is old. He's in his 60s, right? And he's kind of bummed out about something.
Balboa, that is to say, right?
Yeah, Rocky Balboa. It's Rocky 6. And somebody goes up to him and is like, "What's wrong, Rocky? Is it because they took your statue?" And it's like, wait, Rocky takes place in the real world
where the
they
statue
put up
got made?
a Rocky statue?
It takes place in the world where Bill Burr tore down the city of Philadelphia for worshiping a fake movie, for having a fake movie hero. And he's in that world existing. Yes, exactly.
It's so weird. It's so bizarre.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I'm like fucking dying at how ridiculous all of that is. And like Punch Mom is just kind of like, oh boy, okay. How many of them is there? Are we we really doing all of this? Because that was that was fun for a gag, but oh boy, that's a lot.
Currently there are 8.
Yeah. I feel bad subjecting like her to like the ridiculousness of this, because it's like, okay, there's supposed to be a thing where this is a ridiculous goof, but deep down there's some fun, serious, good stuff. And I mean, knowing that this is like where we're starting, and then it stays good for a bit and then goes even further off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna get there, man.
Also, Rocky is one of the pioneers, and you start to see it in 3 and 4 and 5. And I don't know what it's called. There's a term for it, but it is. I'm gonna say my own, and if anybody remembers the right term, you'll remember. There is such a extreme performative heterosexuality.
Oh yeah, okay.
About just how not gay Rocky is and not gay Creed is, that in the modern context, it's like these dudes are cheating on their wives. These dudes, they're fucking. This is. I'm specifically thinking of 3 where they're running at the beach and splashing each other. With water.
Dude. No, you're talking
like,
about.
Wow.
You're talking about Top Gun volleyball. You know.
Oh man, Top Gun has inverted.
Like, yeah.
Top Gun is the greatest.
Did you mean to say inverted?
Yes, I did. Top Gun's entire like sexuality of that whole movie has 100% upside down inverted. It's hilarious.
So that's like the when you that's exactly what you're describing. Yeah, no, we all know that. You know, the I don't know what you would call it, but like the muscle cam moments
Oh yeah.
of these various movies is like, yeah,
There's
no,
like
we
there's just like a slow motion shot of Rocky on the beach, like, and they're zooming in on like the rippling muscles as he's like splashing his
Yep.
friend with water
Yep,
and like
yep.
running away, going ha 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 ha, you can't catch me, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Tom's playing volleyball. Fuck out of here, lady. You know, that's what you play volleyball with the boys to get you ready for the date later that night. You know, that's what gets you excited. Yeah. No, I mean the I'm glad that the pace has been set for the absurdity that is Rocky 1. And like I said, I know that this is also like the most real filmmaking is to be found here in these first two. So I don't know how to go about like I'm you know what, like I basically I'm like I said, look, we can try the second one, and like if she's got to tap out, then she's just gonna tap out.
The second
But
one is great. What's probably of most interest to you, if you're gonna like go through this whole thing, is Rocky 4 is a cartoon.
okay.
But Stallone, I don't know if he finished it, but he's in the process of recutting it.
Oh yeah, that the director's cut is already out. I heard about that.
It's out. Apparently,
Yeah.
it's like much better.
Yeah,
With
some scenes. I've heard about some scenes being redubbed, re-replaced. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
I think there's one part about that I don't like, which is, you mentioned it earlier, so I don't feel bad about mentioning it, where they take out the robot.
The robot.
There is a science fiction, like from today's future robot that is a character in Rocky 4.
Yep.
And just wow.
I have both versions, and I'm absolutely watching the version that has it, because fuck you, I'm gonna miss out on that. As well as whatever the original recording is of him doing his oh cry, which I've heard. I've heard a ton about. Oh,
yeah, there's a lot in there.
So yeah, no, I'm gonna do it. And what I'm actually looking forward to the most is the boxing getting real, which I believe by Creed it's real boxing now.
Yeah, you only have to get through about 7 movies.
Great, that's great. Oh! Yeah, the adventure. I didn't know how impossibly dated. Because the thing is things that are literally more dated are black and white. And so your brain doesn't care about trying to like recognize it as a modern concept, a modern thing. You don't try to relate to it because it's just black and white, you know? Anyway, incredible.